I was 18 when I got a call from my future daughter. "Mom, what gossip do you want?" "I know everything." After a lot of hesitation, I cautiously brought up the upperclassman I had a crush on in high school. My daughter's voice suddenly drew out in a sing-song way. "Oh, him? Yeah, his son and I are in the same class. From what I hear, he's doing great. Happy family, happy marriage." My heart squeezed tight. The little bit of hope I'd been holding on to finally died. Suddenly, a little boy who looked exactly like her popped into the frame. "Hey, sis, who are you video calling, Mom? How did you?" The boy's voice suddenly shot up. "Dad. Come look." Mom got so young. I couldn't breathe. In the background of the video, I caught a glimpse of the face I'd been dreaming of. I had just gotten my college entrance exam results when the video call came in. When I saw a face that was a spitting image of my own, I figured it was some kind of online scam. The girl's big, mischievous eyes darted around as she grinned. "Mom, what do you want to know?" "Don't be shy, I know all the tea." I scoffed. "If you're going to scam someone, at least do your research. I'm only 18. How could I have a daughter your age? You look like you're in elementary school already, right?" The girl replied with a straight face. "Mom, I really am your daughter. If you do the math, I'll be born in 7 years." I clicked my tongue. This person must think I'm a total idiot. If I believed that, there's no way I would have scored over 600 on my exams. "Okay, so you don't believe me." Her tone shifted, and she got a look on her face like she was about to stir up trouble. "Remember when you were little and you and Auntie Jasmine poked a hornet's nest, and your face got so swollen you looked like one of those bee-filter puppies?" My whole body tensed up at the mention of that cringy memory. Only Jasmine and I knew about that. Was this Jasmine messing with me? I couldn't help but blush. "That's enough, Jasmine. Aren't you embarrassed? We're both about to be college students and you're still pulling these pranks. Do you really think I'm that dumb?" The girl froze for a second, then, realizing what was happening, rattled on. "Fine. Grandma told me that when you were little, you thought kissing made you pregnant, and you insisted you had to take responsibility for the little girl next door and marry her. There's no way Jasmine knew about that story. When you eliminate all the impossible options, whatever remains, no matter how crazy, must be the truth." Sensing things were getting out of hand, I cut her off immediately. "Stop. I believe you, just don't say any more." A triumphant dimple appeared on my daughter's bouncy little face. "Aren't you curious about the future, Mom? Like how the boy you had a crush on in school is doing?" Seeing her gossipy expression, a face instantly popped into my head. He was the most popular guy at our school. At least half the girls in my year had a crush on him. He was a year ahead of me and the student body president. Before I could think, the words tumbled out of my mouth. "So, do you know how George is doing these days?" A second later, I realized how weird it was to ask my kid that and was about to change the subject. But my daughter's voice suddenly stretched out. "Oh, him? Yeah, his son and I are in the same class. From what I hear, he's doing great. Happy family, happy marriage." My heart squeezed tight. The little bit of hope I'd been holding on to finally died. My daughter and his son are classmates. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I guess you could call that fate. But I'd had a crush on him for 3 years. Whenever I felt lost, George was always there to guide and encourage me. We were both in student government. When it was time to choose between focusing on sciences or humanities, I was torn between my passion and my future prospects. He told me to follow my heart, that life was a wide open field of possibilities. After that, I decided I would get into the same college as him. I studied like crazy, wanting so badly to be a part of his future. But now, that dream was shattered. Hearing that he had a happy marriage and a beautiful family made my heart ache. But then again, a guy as great as him deserved to be happy. Suddenly, a little boy who was the spitting image of my daughter popped into the frame. "Hey, sis, who are you video calling, Mom? How did you?" The boy's voice suddenly shot up. "Dad. Come look." Mom got so young. Footsteps got closer, and a familiar voice came through. "What are you two talking about? Don't make up excuses to get out of your homework." I held my breath. In the background of the video, I caught a glimpse of the face I'd been dreaming of. The screen went black. The call had been abruptly ended. I saw him clearly. It was George. My future daughter and the little boy who crashed the call looked exactly alike. They must be fraternal twins. And they both called me Mom and called George Dad. By logical deduction, George and I get married in the future. And have twins? It was a lot for a newly minted adult to take in. A text from my daughter came through. "Mom, Dad's about to confiscate my tablet, so I can't video call anymore. We'll have to text from now on. Reply to confirm receipt." Me, received. My brain, already fried from final exams, felt like its CPU was about to melt. The thought that George might actually like me back made my head feel like it was filling with bubbles. Could it be that I liked him so much I was hallucinating? That I'd imagined my future daughter video calling me? My phone buzzed on the bed. I picked it up to check. People were tagging me in the class group chat. "Stella, stop lurking. It's okay if you didn't do well on the exams. Come hang out with us tomorrow. Who knows when we'll see each other again." Yeah, for real. I heard time speeds up in college. The next time we all get together it might be for someone's wedding. I'm gonna miss you guys so much. Besides dinner and karaoke, what else is on the agenda for tomorrow? I scrolled up through the chat history. Turns out, a lot of people had been sharing their good scores right after they came out. Since I'd been quiet, everyone assumed I hadn't done well. Our class was always really close, and we got together for dinner all the time. Wanting to end things on a good note, I replied, "Sure, count me in for dinner. Just send me the time and place." In the private room at the restaurant, Jasmine sat next to me, whispering conspiratorially. "Stella, you've had a crush on him for 3 years. Have you confessed yet?" Even though we weren't in the same class, Jasmine spent half of high school hanging out in my classroom, so basically everyone knew her. It wasn't weird at all for her to show up at our class dinner. I shook my head and told her with a smile, "I'm a little busy hanging out with everyone right now." Jasmine was more anxious than I was. "Dinner isn't going to stop you. You've already got your scores back. If you don't confess now, are you just gonna wait for a chance encounter in college? Don't get your hopes up. College campuses are huge. You two might not even see each other once the whole semester." After a moment's hesitation, I showed her the 2 text messages. I also told her about the video call from my future daughter. She was completely dumbfounded. "No way, for real? You've gotta be hacking." I tilted my head, confused. She explained, "Hacking, you know, like cheating in a video game. Ugh, why am I explaining this to you?" Suddenly, there was a knock on the door, and the face I'd been dreaming of, George's face, appeared in the doorway. Our class president walked over to him and introduced him to everyone. George happened to be back in town on business, so I invited him to join us. "Hope you guys don't mind." My eyes met his, and for a second, I found it hard to breathe. My phone buzzed with a text from my daughter. "Mom, are you at dinner in a private room right now? Dad should be showing up right about now to casually run into you, right?" Casually run into me? He wasn't just passing by. Seeing my nervousness, George didn't let his gaze linger on me for too long. He went around and said hello to everyone. When he got to me, he held out his hand, his smile as warm as ever. "Congratulations, Stella. Happy graduation." As I shook his hand, I was worried my palm would be sweaty. But then I felt a slight tremor in his hand, too. Could George be nervous? "Thanks, George." After greeting everyone, he smiled apologetically. I've already covered the bill for you guys, but I have to run. Enjoy yourselves. I couldn't help but think what a nice guy he was, stopping by and picking up the tab for all of us. Another text from my daughter came through. Sigh. Dad said he only paid for everyone that day just to get a chance to see you, but you were so oblivious you just thought he was a nice guy. If you two had just talked sooner, would you have missed out on 7 years together? My heart clenched. I grabbed my jacket and chased after him, calling back to Jasmine as I left. Something just came up, I've got to run out for a bit. Don't wait for me. I practically flew down the stairs, taking them 2 or 3 at a time, and just managed to catch up to George as he was leaving. I was about to go up and talk to him, but another girl beat me to it. I recognized her. She was in Jasmine's class. Hearing his name, George turned around. I hid behind a door as he waited patiently for her to speak. After gathering her courage, she took a deep breath and spoke, her voice trembling. I like you, George. Will you go out with me? I closed my eyes, my hand on my chest, and listened for his reply. George looked at her seriously. I'm sorry, but I'm not looking to date anyone right now. No, actually, it's because I already have someone I like. So I can't accept your confession. Thank you, I appreciate it. You're a great person. I hope you find the happiness you deserve. My heart started beating wildly. I remembered the first time George and I ever met. It was during lunch break, and everyone was napping. I'd eaten something bad and had to run to the restroom. On my way back, I saw a full-length mirror in the main lobby and slowly walked over to check my reflection. Scrawny figure, pimples on my face, hair that got greasy if I didn't wash it every 2 days. I tried a toothy grin. Ugly. Then I tried a closed-mouth smile. So unattractive. The last part one accidentally mumbled out loud, and George, who was passing by on hall monitor duty with his red armband, overheard and said casually, not at all. You look beautiful. My heart wouldn't stop pounding. After that day, I asked Jasmine which department George was in and worked my butt off to get in, too. Naturally, we became colleagues. I snapped back to the present. The girl who had just been rejected fought back tears and said in a shaky voice, Thank you, George. I hope you find your happiness, too. Then she scurried away. He has someone he likes. Is it me? The thought made me feel so conceited. I braced myself, took a breath, and turned around, only to walk straight into George's chest. He smelled faintly of mint. He gently steadied my shoulders, a half-smile on his face. Stella, eavesdropping on someone's confession? That's not very nice, is it? My head was spinning, and in my nervousness, I started rambling. George, I'm planning to apply to your college. Is that okay? George cleared his throat, the tips of his ears turning red. Of course it is. I'd be happy to have you as my underclassman again. A cold breeze blew in from the entrance. George took off his jacket and draped it over my shoulders. The whole motion was seamless. He asked me softly, What are your plans for the rest of the night? I completely forgot about the karaoke plans. Nothing, really. You? George went along with it. Me neither, but it's getting late. How about I walk you home? Okay. The restaurant wasn't far from my house, only about a 20-minute walk. This was the first time we'd ever been alone together outside of school. The moonlight fell on him, cloaking him in a soft white glow. I ventured a question. George, what's college life like? He answered vaguely. You'll find out in 2 months, won't you? Your own experience will be a better answer than anything I could tell you. His answers were always so airtight. So I had to be more direct. A great school like Columbia must have tons of amazing girls. Have you met anyone you clicked with, maybe started dating? George glanced at me from under his lashes. There are a lot of amazing girls, but I only want to date the person I like. The person he likes. He'd mentioned that when he rejected the other girl. I wanted to ask if that person was me. But if we don't get together for another 7 years, how awkward would it be if the person he likes now isn't me? In the end, I couldn't bring myself to ask the question. George suddenly pointed at a building up ahead. "Stella, is your place up there?" I suppressed the selfish thought of keeping his jacket to create another chance to see him, handed it back, and thanked him sincerely. "Yeah, that's my building right there. Thanks for the jacket, here you go." I used to always think my house was so far from school after class, wishing I could just teleport home. Now, with George walking me home, 20 minutes felt way too short. I wished this walk could last a lifetime. Under the streetlight, George gave me a gentle smile and waved. "Okay, get home and rest up. Good night." "Yeah, good night." As soon as I got home, I saw my silenced phone had been blown up with over 10 calls and messages from Jasmine. "Stella. Where did you go? You dragged me to your class reunion and then abandoned me? Are you even human? Do you know how much they made me drink to atone for your sins?" I immediately called her back. Before she could unleash her fury, I jumped in. "I'm so sorry, Jasmine. I went to find George." The storm that had been brewing in Jasmine's voice instantly dissipated, replaced by curiosity. "Oh. So what happened? How far did you guys get? Did you confess?" I cleared my throat, embarrassed. "Pretty much. We got to the point where he's okay with me applying to his college." There was a 10-second silence on the other end, followed by Jasmine's exasperated laughter. "Wow, so you've made exactly 0 progress. Who cares if you apply to his college? That's up to the admissions office and the Department of Education, okay?" She only forgave me after I pleaded and promised to be her personal bag carrier for a day. The next day, Jasmine dragged me to a bookstore. She immediately got lost in the manga section and couldn't be pulled away. I wandered around and suddenly saw a copy of Love Letter on a shelf. George had recommended this book to me once. When I asked him what it was about, he refused to say. Books are meant to be read on your own. If I tell you how I felt, you'll go in with preconceived notions, and then you won't have your own experience. Basically, he just didn't want to give spoilers. Stingy. Later, school got too busy. I gradually forgot about it. Since I had time now, I took the book to the checkout counter. My phone vibrated in my bag. It was a text from an unknown number. Based on the following poem by Robert Frost, The Road Not Taken, what can we infer about the speaker's future emotional state? A. Joyful B. Regretful C. Ambiguous D. Indifferent. Is this one of those Temu promotions? I tried copying the code, but nothing's happening. The sender was speechless for a moment. Mom, it's not a Temu ad. It's my homework. I'm stuck on this question, can you help me? I'd already memorized the number, so I knew it was my future daughter. This was the first time she'd contacted me for something other than spoilers about the future. But are elementary school questions really this weird in the future? After I patiently explained it to her, Jasmine was done buying her manga. She linked her arm through mine affectionately. Let's go. We'll grab some snacks and then head home for some gaming. While we were at the supermarket, I told Jasmine about helping my daughter with her homework. She was gradually coming to terms with this bizarre reality. Well, in that case, you don't have to rush things. You two are going to end up together eventually, so just let it happen naturally. But something still felt off. When we got to the snack aisle, I got another text from my daughter. Mom, I have a complaint. I want to eat chocolate, but Dad won't let me. There happened to be chocolate on the shelf right in front of us. Jasmine picked up a box and asked if I wanted some. Looking at the package, I shook my head. Wait, there's a brand of chocolate I've been wanting to try. Let me ask a classmate what it's called. Lily, do you remember what brand of chocolate George gave us last year? It was Christmas of our sophomore year. George said his dad's company had given him a ton of extra chocolate, so he brought it in to share with us. The packaging was beautiful. I stared at it for so long, I nearly wore the box down to a shine, but I couldn't bring myself to eat it. I couldn't eat the one George gave me, but surely I could buy the same kind for myself, right? Later, George asked us how it tasted. All the other students said it was delicious. Even though I hadn't eaten it, I agreed with them. At the time, George looked like he wanted to say something but then swallowed his words. A new message popped up on my phone. Lily, image. Lily, you mean this one? I just looked it up online. I have to say, the square ones are the best, they're liqueur filled. But the round ones are good too. I clicked the link she sent and browsed the page, confused. Are the heart-shaped ones sold out? I don't see them. She seemed even more confused. What heart-shaped ones? You must be remembering it wrong. There are only 2 kinds. Even though I hadn't eaten it, I had definitely opened the box to check. They were hearts. I zoomed in on the product photo. The wrapping paper on the ones George gave me was different from the ones for sale. If they don't sell heart-shaped ones online, could it be Jasmine? Let's check out, quick. I just remembered something I need to go home and check. Jasmine had no idea what was going on but was happy to cooperate. Once we got to my house, I started frantically rummaging through my things. I found the box of chocolates, carefully unfolded all the wrappers, and laid the chocolates on a paper towel. Jasmine grabbed my arm, trying to stop me. Whoa, 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 there's no way we can eat all of these, right? Do you really need to unwrap so many? My blood sugar, this is a life or death situation. I brushed her hand away. It's not about eating them. You'll see in a minute. So Jasmine sat on the side, munching on chips, and watched me quietly. There were 8 chocolates in total. After I pieced all the wrappers together, they formed a sentence. Will you go with me to see the ocean in the desert? Jasmine leaned in closer. What does that mean? Is the ocean in the desert a tourist spot? I closed my eyes and told her, no. There's no ocean in the desert. The full expression is, let's go see the ocean in the desert. I don't need a future, I just need you. The campus radio station had played a song with that line once. I didn't get it at the time, and that's how George explained it to me. My nose started to tingle, and my eyes got a little misty. No wonder George kept looking at me that day when he asked if the chocolate was good. This was like suddenly finding out you won the lottery 10 years ago. But the ticket had long since expired. Another text came in. It was my future daughter. Mom. Dad should have posted something on his socials around this time. You missed out on 7 years because you didn't see this post. Go look now. I immediately opened X and checked my follow list. Even though George and I had followed each other a long time ago, I never used the app. So he never had to block me from seeing anything I wouldn't have seen it anyway. This time, with my future daughter's help, I found George's post right away. Not worth it, our department has a spot for a foreign exchange student, and my advisor wants to give it to me. My family wants me to go, too. But the person I like is here, so I don't want to go. What should I do? After reading that post, I finally understood why we had missed each other for 7 years. There were a ton of comments with all sorts of advice. Dude, have you told her how you feel? If you haven't, just confess. If she says yes, you stay. If she says no, you go abroad. What's there to hesitate about? Not worth it, replied. I haven't said it outright, but I've pretty much confessed, right? I brought her flowers the day she got her exam scores back. Forgot to mention I'm a year older, already in college, and she just finished her exams. I ran into her at her class reunion and paid for everyone's dinner just to see her. But the most obvious thing was at Christmas my senior year. I made her handmade chocolates with wrappers that spelled out a secret message only we would understand, but she had no reaction at all. Do you think she's trying to politely reject me? Wait, He brought me flowers on the day I got my scores? George, you little two-faced sneak. I clearly remember him telling me he was bringing flowers for his cousin but went to the wrong exam site, so he just gave them to me. But as for the chocolate and the class reunion, if my future daughter hadn't tipped me off, I would have been completely clueless. The same user replied quickly, "Wow, dude. You've been that obvious and the girl still hasn't reacted? You've got no shot. You should just pack your bags and go abroad." I held my breath. Was this the guy who made us miss each other for 7 years? I was about to reply but remembered I was on my main account and held back. But other users came to my defense. Why can't you just be direct if you like someone? You never actually said I like you. Were the flowers sunflowers or something? Did you say you were just in the neighborhood when you treated her to dinner? And as for the chocolate, what if she never even ate it? She'd have to be pretty conceited to just assume you like her. I silently liked that comment. I even showed it to Jasmine, moved. Look, someone's sticking up for me. I'm so touched, wah. Jasmine said nonchalantly, "Oh, that was me." The guy who said George had no chance replied to that comment. Give me a break. Can you really not tell when someone likes you? He did all that for you and you're still playing dumb? How is that any different from not liking him back? In this day and age, playing dumb and ignoring someone is an answer in itself. Seriously, dude? Are you determined to break us up? Sure enough, not worth it saw the exchange. But his reply was still optimistic. Really? You mean I still have a chance? A more rational person chimed in, nah, don't give up your career for love. The right person will be waiting for you in your future. You can find another girlfriend, but a chance to study abroad doesn't come around every year. Replying to the above, the fact that his professor thinks so highly of him means he's a top student. And his family can afford tuition and living expenses abroad, so he's well off. A guy like that will shine whether he's at home or abroad, okay? Amidst everyone's heated debate, George made a decision. Alright, everyone, I'll take your advice. I'm going to make a post on my social feed visible only to her. If she asks me to stay, I'll stay. If she doesn't react at all, I'm going abroad. Jasmine munched on chips as she watched my face shift from stormy to sunny while I scrolled through the posts. Finally, I put my phone down. She let out a cold laugh. Is the soap opera over, Your Highness? I immediately scooted over to sweet talk her. She was easy to win over, and soon we were brainstorming together. Afterward, I picked up one of the chocolates George had made and took a bite. Jasmine watched me expectantly. Well? How is it? Is the chocolate your dreamboat George made by hand delicious? I stared into space and handed her a piece to try. A moment later, the air went still. Jasmine looked at me with a complicated expression. It's enough that George is handsome. His cooking skills, on the other hand, are something else. You have to tell him, he did a great job, and he should never do it again. I was so anxious waiting for George's post that I couldn't even play video games. While I waited, I remembered what one user told George. Don't give up your career for love. I started to spiral again. Was asking him to stay really the right choice? If waiting 7 years meant he could have a better future, maybe it wouldn't be so bad. Suddenly, as if reading my mind, my future daughter sent a text. Mom, I'm guessing you've seen Dad's post by now? Don't hesitate. Promise me you'll ask him to stay, okay? You two missed out on 7 years just because you were afraid of holding him back, and then after I was born, you told me your love story 800 times. My ears are about to fall off. Besides, he wasn't happy in that foreign country for those 7 years, and you ended up with some toxic, emotionally abusive guy back home. You both regretted it like crazy. My heart dropped. Was I wrong to automatically romanticize his life abroad? He did say he wanted to stay. When I opened my messaging app again, a little red dot and a familiar profile picture had appeared next to my social feed. There's an exchange student spot in my department for next semester. I really don't want to go. Can anyone give me a reason to stay? I gave it a like. Then I opened my chat with him. I sent him the picture of the pieced together chocolate wrappers. I'm willing to see the ocean and the desert with you. Is that a good enough reason? I held my breath. A few seconds later, 3 exclamation points popped up on the screen, only to be deleted a moment later. About a minute passed. AAA George, the committee has decided to accept your reason. AAA George, I'm not going. Hearing that, Jasmine and I jumped up and hugged each other excitedly. Jasmine was almost in tears. You idiot, your time has finally come. I'm so happy for you, wah. I had shared every detail of my secret crush with her, so she knew better than anyone how much I liked George. That's why she was so anxious when I didn't make a move. And why she was so happy for me now that I had. About an hour passed, and George still hadn't messaged me. Jasmine was a little puzzled. So are you two together now? He doesn't seem very enthusiastic. My phone rang. It was a voice call from George. I could hear the wind whistling on his end. He was breathing heavily as he said, Stella, come downstairs. Now. I need to talk to you. Jasmine slapped her own face lightly. My mistake. It's not that he isn't enthusiastic, he's very enthusiastic. Are all you brainiacs this decisive? I didn't even wait for her to finish before I threw on a jacket and ran downstairs. The elevator felt too slow, so I took the stairs, nearly missing a step several times and sending my heart into a freefall for a few seconds. I stumbled my way downstairs. George was standing under a streetlight. When he saw me, he started walking over. My heart was pounding against my ribs, thump, thump, thump. I didn't know if it was the after effects of nearly falling or the deafening sound of my feelings for George. In that moment, I would have used every beautiful word in the dictionary to describe him. He cupped my face in his hands, his voice gentle. You're barely wearing anything. Aren't you cold? I shook my head. Without any preamble, I blurted out, I like. Suddenly, George covered my mouth with his hand. He told me, let me go first. I've been holding this in for a long time. I nodded obediently, and he let go. You probably think the first time we met was when you were looking in the mirror, right? It wasn't. The first time we met, you were feeding fish in the pond with your friend. You forgot to bring fish food, so you just kept making the motion of sprinkling it. I thought you were so cute, ghosting a bunch of koi fish. After that, whenever I saw you, I couldn't help but look a little longer, or say a few words to you. I even started wandering the halls during lunch break instead of napping, just hoping to run into you. Then you joined the student government. The more time we spent together, the deeper I fell. It was like I had separation anxiety. If I didn't see you, I just felt off. I debated whether or to confess to you, but then I thought dating might affect your studies, so I kept it all inside. But I couldn't help myself. I kept dropping all these little hints, hoping you would notice so I would have a good reason to just tell you how I felt. He took a deep breath, his tone serious. Stella, I like you. Will you be my girlfriend? I was already choking up. I nodded hard. Of course. Because I like you, too. And with that, a 3-year secret crush finally saw the light of day. 3 years for Stella. And 3 years for George. When I brought George upstairs, Jasmine was on my phone, video calling with someone. Tell your godmother, will I have a boyfriend 14 years from now? Is he handsome? Do we have kids? Yes, he's handsome, and no kids. Jasmine hissed, pressing for details. How handsome? Compared to your dad? The voice on the other end was nonchalant. Oh, he's not quite on my dad's level. Jasmine scoffed. Your dad looks pretty average to me. You sure you're not just looking at him through a filter? That got a reaction. What? If you're going to be like that, then I'll tell you the truth. Uncle is not handsome at all. He's nowhere near as handsome as my dad. Jasmine was getting worked up. She slammed her hand on the table and was about to retort when I ran over and stopped her. Calm down, calm down. Why are you arguing with a kid? My future daughter saw me and was about to complain, but then she saw George behind me and immediately hung up. Jasmine froze when she saw George, then got up to leave. You too, I'm gonna go. I grabbed her arm, amused. What are you doing? He's just coming up for a glass of water and a chat. He'll be leaving in a bit. Jasmine sat back down. I pulled George into the room, took his hand, and cleared my throat. Let me introduce you. This is my boyfriend, George. George smiled fondly and added, Jasmine, right? Nice to meet you. I've heard so much about you. Turns out, not long after I went downstairs, my phone got a video call from my future daughter. The phone kept ringing, so Jasmine had no choice but to answer. Like me, she didn't believe it at first, either. But then my daughter started spilling one embarrassing story after another about the two of us, and she was convinced. Which led to the scene George and I walked in on. We told George about the calls. As crazy as it sounded, he actually believed it. We were all curious why our daughter always hung up the second she saw George, so we promised him we wouldn't get mad and called her again. This time, both our daughter and son were on screen. Jasmine marveled from the side. You two have some powerful genes. How did you manage to create not one, but two perfect little models, and have them look exactly alike? My skin wasn't great during puberty, especially with all the academic stress, and I had no time for skincare. But after I got to college, my confidence grew, my skin cleared up, and my daughter told me I had a lot of admirers. George couldn't help but ask, what about me? Our son scoffed mercilessly. You had an endless supply of sad desk lunches and exams. George? Are you sure he's my son? Why is he so annoying? After some prodding, our daughter finally told us the real reason she had contacted us. Because you two always regretted missing out on those 7 years of each other's lives. 18 to 25 is your golden age. I just wanted to help you make your dream come true. That made me think about what would have happened without her help. I never would have discovered the secret confession under the chocolate. I wouldn't have known that there's no such thing as so many coincidences and chance encounters. And my failure to ask him to stay would have been taken as a polite rejection. Changing the subject, our daughter suddenly said, besides, you guys are the first couple I ever shipped. Jasmine let out a snort, nearly spitting out her water. Shipped? Do elementary schoolers really get online that much these days? Afterward, our daughter explained why she was afraid of George. It was simply because my work often required me to travel, so George was usually the one overseeing their schoolwork. He would just nag them if they spent too much time on their tablets. When they learned that George and I were officially together now, the two kids got incredibly excited. Yay, Mom and Dad. That means we're going to be born. I had just taken a sip of water, and George and I both almost choked. Stop. That's not how it works. We're not even old enough to get married. Our daughter and son exchanged a look, then smiled. Young Mom and Dad, our time is almost up. We'll see you again in a few years. We wish you both all the happiness. When I tried to find my daughter's contact info again, I discovered it had all vanished. Later, George comforted me. Maybe they disappeared because their mission was complete. I asked him sadly, what mission? Making us happy. I thought about it and realized he was right. I was very happy right now. My best friend was by my side, and the person I loved most was right in front of me. Epilogue. One day, 10 years later. Afterward, I couldn't sleep and found myself scrolling on my phone. I came across a post asking, what's your relationship now with the person you liked most back in school? Out of boredom, I opened the comments and saw all sorts of replies. Some were full of regret, others were happy endings. She's married now. I'm still a nobody. On the day she got married, on a whim, I opened the zipper on the back of the teddy bear she gave me for high school graduation. I found a note inside. It said, "I love you." OMG to the guy above, that's even more painful than never knowing she liked you. We're together. After 10 years of running in circles, she's lying right next to me now. Suddenly, George sleepily wrapped his arms around my waist and nuzzled against me. "What's wrong, honey? Still not asleep? Can't sleep? Want to go another round, hmm?" I chuckled and ruffled his hair. "No. I was just feeling a little sentimental." His voice was low and raspy. "Sentimental about what?" "About how lucky I am to be with the person I love." At that, he laughed and planted a sticky kiss on my cheek. "You're a little late with that sentiment. I've felt that way since the first day we got together." A wave of sweetness washed over me. I put down my phone, snuggled into his arms, and hugged him back. "Okay, let's get back to sleep." A few days later, a top-rated comment appeared under the post. The person I liked most in school was an upperclassman. Now my daughter and his son are in the same class. He's doing great, has a happy family and a happy marriage. Me too. A few days after that, a top-rated reply appeared under that comment. "Mom, when are you coming home from your business trip? If you have time to comment on posts, maybe you could parent your kids. Dad's cooking is going to poison me and my brother."